Hey there, hi there, ho there, out there in spray wash land. I got a cat sitting by my feet, just meowing like crazy and being annoying. So it is what it is. So I'll deal with the cat as she keeps climbing up my leg, and she's like, I want to be held, Daddy. I want to be held." And I'm like, "No, cat, go away." Wow. Yeah. Anyhow, Ray will be right back. And normally I wear a spray wash shirt, but this is a Holly double pumper, Holly double pumper shirt that I got from Alan Wymus, and at the huge convention, because I guess his wife has been working for Holly for I think he said like 20 years, long time. And I used to run hot rods, and I used to run Holly double pumpers, 650 double pumpers in my motors, and just enjoy that. And so anyhow, so while we're waiting on Ray to come back, just letting you know real quick, this is all going to be about the huge convention and some of the takeaways that we have from the huge convention. And we actually have Jonathan Maynard is scheduled to be with us next Monday to talk about the huge convention 2023 and his takeaways from 2022. But we wanted to kind of get this out there for because I think it was a great show. There were some hiccups, yeah, there were some things that went bad, and like always, but that's just because that's always going to happen. But overall, I was happy with the show. I think there's things that we all could have done different and better. But overall, I was very happy with the show. I wasn't happy with some of the pricing of the some of the meals. I mean, I was like, wow, okay, lesson on that one, didn't we?
Yes.
I think that last meal cost me a little over $500. It was like, ah,
damn.
So such is life. That's all good. But and then the steaks the night before.
Is that the one that you paid for that I didn't even eat at?
You didn't even eat?
I didn't even eat. No.
Didn't you get your meal?
No, I didn't order anything. I was just I was just shot out from having to pack up the power wash store booth, and yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Well, I'm glad you didn't eat. That would have been just a little that much more. But anyhow.
That was the you know, and it's one of those things, Doug, to where I got to get comfortable here. It has been a day. Yeah. The you know, sometimes when you go to those things, you wind up having fun, and sometimes you just got to go to hell with the cost on it, and
yep,
and to hell with the cost on it, you know.
Exactly.
That's kind of part of it. You know what? I just figured out what was wrong. What's been wrong in my life here lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to rectify it.
So,
to rectify this.
What is it?
I'll tell you. 1 second.
Jacob, I love you, brother, and I'm very sorry.
I have not had my Attila the Hun microphone on.
Oh, there you go. Mine's
does it sound a little better?
It does. Sounds a lot better. Mine sits way off to the side, so I don't even know if it sounds great or not.
Yours sounds okay, but I was using my Logitech thing, but I get that fuller, richer, sexier voice with this on me. So
yeah. See, that's the thing. My camera is way better. I'm way sexier than you are because of the camera, and now you got the better voice. And so
I can blind
you. I should just move my lips because I'm way more sexy, and then your voice is going to be more sexy, and I'll move my lip. But you like puppet it.
That would involve my hand being up your rear, like doing.
Yeah, no, that's not
good. Saw this bumper sticker that said, "I'm a what was it? I'm a veterinarian, so I drive like an animal." And I said, well, that explains why there's so many proctologists on the road.
Yeah. So, Matt, you're right. I should send Paul a bill. That's what I should do.
Yeah. You know, And Dustin, it was likewise good to see you, buddy. Yeah, no kidding. That will wind up wearing you out. Those late nights
Yep.
and heavy drinking. So, and I mean, I didn't even drink as much as I have in years past. But I tell you, one of the things that Doug and I do that first day, whenever we do the Spray Wash Academy, we did 3 classes, and we literally went from with us talking to each other at 6 a.m. setting up the room, and we walked out of the room at like 6:30 that night. It was what 12 and a half hours of solid talking.
Right.
And even whenever we're breaking classes, either people want to come up and talk to us, or he and I are talking about, okay, on the next section, let's talk about this, or hey, you're doing this, or you look funny, or you're spit when you talk, or that kind of thing. And you're right, standing as well. So it's a long day, and it'll wear you out for the rest of the show.
Kobe, nice to see you on here, and happy birthday, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you. One of the things that I regret about the show was that I missed the keynote, and my understanding is that Hamish just blew it out of the park. And
heard the same thing.
Some people were saying that it was absolutely out of all of the conventions they had ever been to, all the keynotes that they had ever heard, that it was by far the best keynote they had ever heard. And so I wish I had been there for that. But I guess for me, part of it is getting a little bit on the older side. Don't really go out ever drinking, and had tossed quite a few back, and that's not normal for me. So yeah, the next morning I kind of slept in a little bit.
And you were getting the old fashions that last night there.
I don't know how many old fashions I had, but it was, and that was after everything else. So.
Yeah.
And now I've got blood sugar issues, so in the middle of the night, my body's quivering from all the sugar that's in those drinks. But
yeah, I would say that the only keynote speaker I ever heard, apparently that was ever better than Hamish was that guy Ray Burke a few years ago in Branson.
Yeah.
Heard he was absolutely amazing.
That guy, yeah, he was very close to first place with Hamish. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard that he's like retired now and bought like store and
doing education. Yep. But I did not. What an interesting location to have that at the Grand. Just one of the wonders of the world. It seems like that hotel and how they've done that. Truly amazing if you haven't seen it. Again, I know you taught a class. You taught a class on effective teamwork, and I think that's a class that we actually have, or will have soon.
Yeah, we'll have that online.
Pro. And it was, the education was just absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I see constantly in the Facebook groups is, you can learn everything you need to know about the washing business on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what right now.
You can learn a lot of bad information on YouTube.
Yeah, if you think you can learn everything you think you need to know in the washing business on YouTube, you were sadly mistaken. Mm-hmm. And not only that, I used to think that and I still think there are some hacks out there on the education side that are giving horrible information. And a lot of the information they're giving is based on lies, because they haven't done what they've said they've done out there. And there's a ton of these people on YouTube. Very few people are honest about what they've done. But even though they're selling classes, I actually think the person that's more dangerous on that, Doug, is the guy that thinks, I don't need to pay for squat on education, and I am going to learn for everything I need to know just from watching YouTube. Mm-hmm. Because those are the guys that really, really get dangerous out there.
Yeah. It's funny because I recently saw a comment about somebody else doing some sort of paid classes, and the comment was more about one of the comments was about, you don't want to listen to people that no longer actually even do this work anymore, that have sold their companies and no longer do this kind of work. Hey, that's great. I understand it. But if you can't get to that point to sell your company and you're just using the excuse that, well, I don't know, whatever excuse you're using, hey, great. I think it's part of the American dream. Sometimes you want to sell, sometimes you don't want to sell. So anyhow, I don't want to get too far off track about what the huge convention was about, but nonetheless, it's all about who and what you're listening to, and that's why I think the huge has so many different speakers and so many different topics, and you get to pick and choose what you're wanting. But here's one of the things I kind of wanted to get out there. If you went to the huge convention, let me back up. If you didn't go to the huge convention, you really should go to the 2023 huge convention. But if you did go, the huge convention sent out a questionnaire, a how did we do kind of a thing, right? Man, please fill that out for them, because if you had a great speaker like me, if you had a great speaker, tell them about it. If you had a horrible speaker like me, it doesn't matter who it was, tell them about it. If you had, okay, this guy was okay, I wish he would have done this, or I wish he would, tell them about it. I can tell you from talking with the guys that now own the huge convention that they want to make this a really good show. They want it to be as good as it can be for you. And so if they don't know something is broken, they can't fix it for you, right? If they don't know that, hey, this person was dry as dust, or this person was just up on the podium to sell, they can't fix it for you, right? If they don't know that this speaker was really good and this speaker was really good, they can't invite them back. You see what I mean? So give the huge convention a shout out. Give them some response. Fill out their what is that called? Their survey. Their survey that they did, right? I think it's hello@hugeconvention.com, and that's their email address. Shoot them an email and tell them what you liked and what you didn't like, or tell them, hey, we'd like to see the huge convention happen in Istanbul, whatever it is that you want to do, right? I'm not going to Istanbul, by the way, but Ray died out. He'll be back. So converse with the huge convention and tell them what it is that you would like to see coming back into the huge convention. Because again, if they don't know what's broke or what you really want, they can't make it that huge convention that you're looking for. Know what I mean? Let me go over to some of the comments while we wait for Ray to come back. Let's see. Let me go to this one first. So I watched a lot of 20-year-olds sing 80s tunes. That was awesome. There's hope for the future yet. Gee, I'm going to assume that's Gene O'Neill. Mr. Collin, very nice to meet you as well. That was one of the things. There were so many people that were there. And one of the takeaways that both Ray and I got, and I don't remember a name, so I'm going to apologize right off the bat. But I went up to get some, for some reason, before the huge convention, before even knowing it was there, for some reason, the past, 4 to 6 weeks, I don't know why, I've just been kind of craving having a pretzel, a fresh baked hot pretzel kind of a thing. So they had one of those places there at the huge convention. I went inside, and when I went inside, there was a gentleman in there, and he recognized me, and he said, "Hey, man, great to see you again. I really appreciate all your help on whatever that was." And I apologize for not knowing, but honestly, we help a lot of people outside and that we don't ever necessarily see or meet. We just talk and whatever. So not that we don't mean to remember everybody, because we do. It's just sometimes we help a lot of people. And so, he offered to buy my pretzels. I said no. But we got a lot of that this year, where just people coming up saying, "Man, I really appreciate meeting you. I really appreciate all the help that you've given us." All these kinds of things. And we're really thankful for that. So appreciate it very much. Michael J is laughing at something. I'm not really sure what. Mr. Todd is in the house. What up, guys? Let's see. Michael J, YouTube wannabes. That's probably what he was laughing about, right? Look like Ray Ray's coming back in. And then we got Facebook user. Good evening, gentlemen. It was such a pleasure to see you guys on the convention. I'm a better person and better business owner for going. That's the entire point of going to the huge convention, right? There's so much that you could pick up on and learn. Yep, I heard
Got
it.
All right.
Gotcha.
So as I was leaving, pressure washing pumps. I think I know who. I think. So
you think you figured it out?
Yeah. You were just talking about somebody had made a comment of people as I started having problems, and that's why I was sitting there going, just screaming whenever you were saying that, and you couldn't hear me. But yeah, I think I saw a guy who claims to do a lot more than he actually does. He's never broken 400,000 in a year, but lets everybody think he does $1 million in large structures that may or may not be parked in. So anyway, I'll just leave that there. So
you're gonna have to spill the beans because I don't think I figured it out yet. I thought I had at one point, but.
So how many of these have you gotten through, or have you?
No, we're right there. Yeah. So the last one was, so the only one I had clicked on, I'm going to interrupt you here. I had clicked on pressure washing pumps. And then the next one was Wesley here. What is on the agenda for the Huge 23? So just so you know, there is huge23.com is now live, and y'all can go there. And I'm going to tell you that the huge convention is starting to put things out very early this year. They're starting now to promote for 2023. I'm getting the sense that it's going to be the biggest show ever, just so you know, from what I'm hearing and the feedback that's coming back.
Right. And James had that I know that last year, Tony Morgan from Fleet Wash / Crystal Clean, that was the purchaser of my business. He was a speaker there and had a great breakout session, and he and I may wind up doing something there in the future together and talking. But yeah, that's actually a great idea, and it would be nice to see a track, for some of the, the companies that are in that 7-figure and because there really is such a wide array of people. I mean, you're meeting people that are at that $100,000 range, and you're meeting people who are at that $2 million range, and everybody
$10 million range.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. But I'll bring that up to their attention that, you've made it. Now what kind of deal on here, because we all have different, and that's a class actually that we've done. We wrote, and in Branson, I know Doug was doing that, and it was talking about the $100,000 trap, but could also be scaled up to the $1 million trap. And for any guys just joining us, I would say, be real careful and don't feel like you've got to get to these excessive numbers that you hear bantied about, because there are lots of guys out here that are running one truck with a helper at $250,000, $300,000 that are actually much financially stable and better off. Then there are $1 million companies out there, or $500,000 companies with 3 trailers and tons of employees out there, because all that glitters is not necessarily always gold. And exactly. There's a saying,
some of the tools gold.
Yeah, mo money, mo problems, and I was having a discussion, the other day with somebody in my office, and I said, man, I don't miss the days of being, just feeling, oh man, look at everything's great, and then suddenly you have 2 payrolls of $25,000 each coming out of your account, and the $30,000-$40,000 checks you're waiting on haven't come in, have gotten delayed from these projects, and all you're getting in there is these $375, $600 house washing checks, and you watch your bank account start ticking down to count down to homelessness. Then you may even have to go over and supplement it with $10,000 out of your business savings. And it was funny because I didn't realize this person was in this position, and you could literally see tears well up in his eyes, and kind of got choked up a little bit. And he said, man, said, I am in that same position right now,
Don't know
He
how
said,
I'm going to make it.
he goes a little bit different. He said, but I looked at that account and I was like, holy crap, $40,000 in my business account. I've never had that in there before. And he's like, but then next thing you know, I had two $15,000 payrolls, and stuff hasn't come in and gotten delayed, and I'm like, and I said, brother, just hang tight. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yep.
So
yeah, when you're sitting there and you've got $60,000 to $80,000 in accounts receivable, and I'm sure there's guys out there that have higher accounts receivable.
But so, yeah, by no means. I mean, please don't ever understand, anybody that watches us, we are not we're just the guys that look really good on camera and have amazing microphones. But we are not the authorities on the biggest business. And I mean, I know 3 dozen people that have larger companies than I had. I mean, I know somebody that had a $40 million, company. I know somebody that did $20 to $25 million on the rig that I consider a very good friend. In fact, he comments on here several times.
Yep.
By no means. I mean, we were just, Doug and I were just in that high 6, low 7-figure area, and we just were pretty comfortable talking a lot.
And that's the thing, when you look at it as you're growing your business, you very first start out and it's tough, right? Just starting in the new business. Then you get to the point where, you get to 1 truck and 1.5 trucks, 2 trucks kind of a thing. And there's kind of a sweet spot. You're making really good money. And then as you're moving up, you go from the sweet spot to the hard spot, to the sweet spot, to the hard spot, to the sweet spot, to the hard spot, till you get up to a very certain level where you can really just walk away and it just runs itself, kind of a thing. And that's at the ultra high level.
Right.
You can do that at an earlier level. Don't get me wrong. It depends on what you want to do and how you want to run your business. But to go back to the point that was made, look, just send an email to them, because I think that's important. Hello at thehugeconvention.com, or reply to their survey and let them know that that's a class that you want to see. I'm sure that they'll put it together. It's the same thing with me. They ask for a very specific class, and they can ask who's qualified for a specific class and get that out there for you, from somebody that's qualified to teach it, not just somebody that wants to teach it.
So Joe, and I want to see some more pressure washing punks videos. I really do. Joe saying outside the industry, have no dog in the fight. Seems a lot of people are feeling the need to defend the huge. I'm not really defending it. I just had a great freaking time doing it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. So I don't think it's defending it. But after going to about 6 of them now, this was the largest trade show that I've seen. I loved it. If anything, if I have a critique of it, the hotel's amazing, but the hotel's almost a little bit too amazing, a little bit spread out. But I just, my accolades are not defending it. I loved it. I enjoyed it.
I don't mean to come off as defending the huge either, because that's certainly not how I mean to do it. If that's the way it seemed, that's certainly not where I'm going. It was an amazing show. You always are going to have some people are going to complain. Look, if it costs you $20,000 to go to a show, it costs you $2,200 or $2. It doesn't matter.
Somebody's going to get
complaints depending on the level. I don't think maybe so at the 20,000, who knows, but you're always going to have complaints, but the vast majority is praise. And there's a reason for that. It was a great show. And I think, again, the way that they're going about for next year, I mean, they're gearing up for next year now, and more so than they have, I think, in the past. And I think, I don't think it's defending them when I say give them feedback. They truly want to make this a great show for everybody involved, and they can't make it they can't get any better if they don't know what worked and what didn't work, kind of.
I think, there was a lot of questions, whenever Thad and Chris sold out, what was going to happen with it? Could they maintain, and could this be as amazing as it was? And, I think Atlanta last year had a few little hiccups out there, but but boy, they came back so strong and so hard this year. It was nice. Like I said, if I had any complaint, it would actually be the hotel more than anything, just because it's that 30-minute walk to
the bathroom in your room. So I have something I have to admit. I have to admit something. I no longer like pressure washing pumps. Do you know why? It was a pleasure meeting y'all last week, which means that now I got to go through my mental database to figure this out. So Ray is going to tell me who he thinks it is, and you're going to let us know who you are, or I'm going to strangle you.
So, and you know, and they're actually having it, you know, there again next year, which I'm going to talk to them about the room blocks on there and see if I can get a room block a little closer to the, had I known how it was, I would have just said, okay, get me a room block over in
Madison,
or even, not Delta, because Delta is as far away as you can go.
The M block is one of the ones that you want. I mean, my room was
Magnolia, not Madison.
Magnolia. Yeah,
Magnolia. That's where you were.
My room was very close. I mean,
yes.
Other than the fact that we went the wrong way to get to it several times, and then realized we went this way and it was like 40 miles.
Right.
Or you go this way and it's literally 13 steps.
Yeah. And you know, it's crazy because I felt really comfortable at the hotel, like the day I was leaving, going, okay, I know, oh crap, you know, which happens as well.
Yeah. Yes, I did get my pretzel, Alan. I really, it was little pretzel pieces, but yeah. And then I didn't share one with Ray. I shared them with
Ray. You gave me the empty cup with a napkin that smelled like it, and it smelled amazing.
Yeah, they were really good. But it was a cup about this big around. It was $9.50. I was like, dang, really? But that's cool.
You know, places like this, and I have spent a lot of time on a lot of time at a lot of conventions, and you know what? It's just one of those that you just got to suck it up and spend. You know, it's start budgeting for it. Realize that you're at a resort type property, and you know, it's just part of the budget on there. You know.
All right. So Servant is asking, hopefully I can make the convention next year. Tips on maximizing the experience. I have a couple of tips for you. So first of all, like my wife didn't come this year. Regretful that she didn't go this year. Ricky, who's also here in this area, his wife didn't come, and his wife and my wife chat, and they're both coming next year. I mean, the law has been laid down that they're coming. So my tips for next year, first, are going to be bring your spouse and your family, and plan on coming, you know, either 2 or 3 days ahead or staying 2 or 3 days after, because it's Nashville, right? There's stuff to do in Nashville. They've got a water park inside there. I know that doesn't necessarily have to do with the convention itself, and I'll get to that. But to start with, bring your family and spend a couple extra days. So that would be tip number one. And really an amazing thing that you could do, an amazing time you could have. As far as the convention itself, I'm going to say, and I think that, again, the huge convention is working on making a better experience. So hopefully if everybody shares, you know, what could make it better for them. But one of the things that I would say, there are the breakout classes that are listed. Know what breakout classes you want. Research your speakers a little bit. I don't mean to the negative side. So the speaker that one of the speakers that I went and saw was pretty much dry as dust, and it was kind of like a sales pitch for his company, and it didn't even go over the topic that was his line. So research your speakers a little bit, and that's something that the huge convention.
I never knew you felt that way about teaching with me, Doug. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's a little offensive,
open like that, but you know, so because there are so many classes out there, pick and choose, and maybe bring another assistant technician or spouse that is in that enjoys the industry, so that you can break off and take multiple classes kind of at the same time. The other thing that you might consider doing, they got a video package out, and I'm not paid by a huge convention or anything like that, but they've got a video package out that I would probably consider buying if I were in that, because then I could take those videos, I could roll through what I wanted, what I didn't want, and possibly contact the person that was giving it the class and all that. I think the buying the video package would be a good thing to do. That's one of the things I think.
I would say read the schedule and plan your course, plan your work. Don't just, they do publish that ahead of time, and you're able to kind of get a flight plan and figure out, who you want to see. Maybe do a little research on who you want to see. I would say, like you alluded to, there was somebody kind of selling from the stage. I would probably, I don't want to just poo-poo anybody's, just because somebody sells a product does not necessarily make them bad at what they do, because they probably actually have a unique perspective on that. But I do tend to like listening to people who have done it and are doing it in the field. However, that being said, sometimes the best thing we can do is get out of this field, so we're not in an echo chamber, just sharing each other's ideas and see, because, you say, oh, well, that won't work for me. Well, how do you know? How do you know it won't work? And the HVAC guys do this. The carpet cleaners do this. How do you know it won't work for pressure washing? I just found this, and I just pulled this up. I wasn't trying to be rude at all. So here's my pedometer for the convention. So on Tuesday, I was at 4.1 miles. On Wednesday, that was whenever we were in the class, that was only 3,700 steps. So that was us. Those 3,700 steps, we realized we're in a 50 by 50 room as well too.
In a box.
Then on Thursday, I was at 3.7 miles. Friday was 5.3 miles. Saturday was 3.1 miles. And then Sunday, walking home through airports, was 3.9 miles as well.
Wow.
That's a lot of steps,
Pressure washing punks, send it to Doug at spraywashacademy.com. Doug at spraywashacademy.com. Doug at spraywashacademy.com. Yeah, we are so far behind in comments. We're gonna have to speed
Oh my gosh.
Up.
I got to have a nice conversation with Bradley. That was really love Bradley and Nikki. They're just awesome people.
Jacob, the 2023 convention will be in the same location, Nashville, Tennessee, same Gaylord Opryland Hotel, and that's where it will be.
Oh, look at that! We have South Africa in the house.
So I'm going to try what Wasby. Nwabisa.
Yep. Some of our very good friends from South Australia were there as well. So
just real quick, I actually knew a guy from South Africa, and his name was Kennedy Nwankwo, and I can't say Nwankwo correctly, and he was the one that told me that is simply because of how we're brought up and raised in the United States. That no matter how I try and no matter how many times he tells me how to properly say Nwankwo, I will never get it correct, ever.
James, thank you. I always appreciate your input. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's see here. A single operator with good accounts be more profitable than a company, running 2 to 3 trucks at $1 million a year. 100% guaranteed.
It can happen, yeah. It can also happen the other way, but
yeah, true.
It depends on how the company is run, so to speak.
Huge will always be a plus, even if you don't need to go to classes. The networking and vacation alone is worth it.
Absolutely.
Joe, just things you have heard. I don't know. I mean, I heard a lot of great stuff, but
everything. I didn't hear anything negative. I saw well, I think I heard one thing negative, but it was the same thing you just said, more about the huge being so huge, you know,
Yeah.
the facility. But I saw a couple of negative comments, but quite frankly, the same negative comments we see every time. And it's more about, I mean, I'm not going to say the person, but a lot of times I think it's more about the person than it is the actual convention. But
Yeah. And, you know, there are things you can do to plan. Like, I think Tanya, you know, my
Alan's right.
wife is a quintessential planner. And, you know, we literally had the Uber before we went there, went and bought several waters, you know, a sack full of waters and a, you know, bag of pretzels, a couple of plums and bananas to have in the room, because if you're hungry and you go out and get a snack, newsflash, it's going to cost you $25 for a snack
Right.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
You know,
And they did have refrigerators in the room, so you
right.
can. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, Keynote.
They do give you 2
that
bottles
guy
of
in
water.
Branson a couple of years ago. He was absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville better than Atlanta. I wish we were downtown in Nashville. The hotel could not attend, but good thing for the industry in general. COVID had many cancellations in years past. And, you know, this was actually, Carlos brings up an absolutely amazing point. And I saw Jamie Schmidt on here earlier. In fact, I even said this to Jamie, you know, last year that Myrtle Beach that he did last year, kind of right as COVID went away and before the second resurgence of it, they were able to do Myrtle Beach. And Doug, well, you and I were there, Doug. Remember, we taught plant and property and did the pre-show education there. I'm seeing a trend in our life. We do a lot of pre-show education.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, absolutely. And Carlos, but the huge really went and the COVID just really went and screwed us all up. And, you know, as a group, we're fairly social people and we enjoy hanging out with guys who do the same thing, who've gone through the same struggles. There's some of us with a mind of mind of servants who really actually want to help other people. And you're not being able to hang with people really, really. I felt horrible. You know, last year, we had to cancel the Orlando event, or the year before we had to cancel the Orlando event. And then Myrtle Beach happened. I think the huge went off last year, but it was canceled the year before. So right. We really had a long time in there for 2.5, 3 years where we had very, very minimal exposure to people and getting to see our friends. And we can talk online all you want to, but actually getting to sit down and hang out with people and break bread and if nothing else, just a handshake in the hall and a quick hug is just amazing to do, you know?
I mean, I couldn't name all the names of the people that I wanted to finally shake hands with. As an example, you know, I'll throw Josh Crabtree out there. Meeting him and Skip, great. It was great to finally shake hands, and you know, that kind of thing. Even though, I mean, you get to the point where you feel like you really know somebody sometimes just online and through conversations and all that. And you know, I think Josh is an amazing person, and I really like where he's going in life. Period. So it's great to sit there and be able to shake hands. We didn't really get a chance to really chat much, but you know, and there's plenty of other people that were there and in that same boat where you just got to meet and finally shake hands or shake hands again. You know, it's a good time it just makes you feel better about a lot of things. And then, like I said, Ray and you and I talked about it, man. How many times did we have people coming up to us and saying, man, we really appreciate what you've done for us. And we didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, man,
it validates so humble, you know? It really does. It validates you. Well, I don't, that's not the right way to say it. It makes you, I don't need the adoration of others for validation, but whenever you have guys that are coming up, it makes you realize that. I was telling Doug that I've actually had a little bit of an identity crisis lately. Now that I've sold spray wash, I'm like, what I did for so much of my life, I mean, is now not necessarily a part of me, even though I'm very connected into the industry through education and through my store. and I've been feeling actually a little bummed over it lately. And it gave me such a boost for people not who came to our class, but just stopped me and, man, you have helped me throughout my years, and thank you for the advice, and you took time whenever nobody else would, and blah blah blah. And it really does. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're, it's not been a big waste, and people are actually listening. Yes, it is. And you know what they say about people with a big microphone, Jeremy?
They have a big mouth to go with it.
I've never gotten lost in a rainforest inside a hotel until last week.
Very much so. Hey, so just real quick, being as how Carlos was on here, don't forget you got the Industry Cleaning Summit coming up in Cabo. Compliments of Carlos Gonzalez. I think, is it sold out, Carlos? Because I think they were trying to get more room blocks and all that, but I think he was trying to open up a little bit more because I think they were sold out. But maybe Carlos can pop in and chime in on that. But that's coming up here very, very shortly.
Yeah, that'll be very soon. That's in September, right? And then the next big one that I know of is going to be
PWNA.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the huge convention, 2023. No, there's others in there somewhere.
Well, I think what Jamie will be doing, they'll be doing Orlando. Jamie and Gene and the guys will be doing Orlando in February next year.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I totally lost my train of thought. I'm just going to sit here like this and act like my screen froze.
Ditto, Dave. I can still see you kind of moving a little bit. Yep. I got to see Dave for a while, talk to him. You were helping out over there at Pat's booth, did the gutter butter, electric handicaps, and and
I got to tell you, Dave, it was a pleasure talking with you, and going back a little bit, I'm going to say you helped reinvigorate something, and so I appreciate that, because conversation that we had, just so that you know, thank you, appreciate you, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that is, and I think you mentioned that earlier. Take your employees with you.
Mm-hmm.
Take your employees. I mean, it's they can learn, because we have tracks for technicians. They may not need to go to the salesperson's track.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the huge convention did a great thing where once you bought your ticket, all the tickets after that were like $125 a person, so you could bring your technicians with you. And I'm telling you, I'll tell you this, when we look at it from the money side of it, I think that's a bargain. So $125, you send, obviously it costs you more than that, right? You can share the room, but you still got to pay for their meals and blah, 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 blah. So you have the budget to be able to do that, right? Period. But they go, and if they listen and they learn and, and they bring back and you talk about things, man, if you implement some of the things that you learn there, the amount of dollars that not only dollars, but time, which time to me equates to money, right? The stuff you can learn,
it actually can be more valuable than time,
Yeah, it ends up being way more valuable than the money that it costs to go to the show. I know my business took off after starting going to conventions as well, because the things that you learn and you pick up on. But again, the huge convention is going to do zero for you if you don't implement anything after the fact. Right? You have to implement. It's up to you.
That guy that I keep talking about, that most amazing keynote speaker that I saw that year. I think
the year before, that Ray Burke guy.
So I forget his name, but the whole topic of his keynote, and it was a short keynote. I was really just a kind of a warmer upper for Brandon Vaughn. So Brandon Vaughn's fluffer on that show, but it was, a 20-30 minute talk of it only works if you implement it. You can Bobby Walker could buy Responsibid all you want to. Hell, any of us could buy House Call Pro all you want to, but until you actually set up the fields and use the email campaigns and I could go join Conquer if I wanted to, and if I shirked my responsibilities and didn't do the follow up and engage in the meetings, I could buy whatever computer program I want. So a lot of it has to do with the implementation of things. And if you don't implement, I mean, what's that? A goal, a plan without implementation is really nothing but a daydream.
Yeah, exactly. I have great daydreams, but they don't equate to any dollars or any value.
That's gutter butter aftershave. Absolutely. Hold on, Doug.
If you, I definitely think that that's one of the things where I've talked to many people in the past about, because I like to ask, what's your biggest takeaway from the huge convention or wherever it is that they went, or from like our classes. Sometimes I'll ask what your biggest takeaway was. And sometimes people will tell me, but then they'll say, but we can't implement that in our business for whatever reason. Most of the times you can, or you can implement a variation, right? If you like it, it sounds good and it's worked. Here's the other thing. If you're listening to people that have been there and done that, the odds are you're getting, a lot better qualified information, right? Because they've been there and they've done that. It has happened. And so that's the other reason why I say, qualify who you're going to go listen to and all that. Make sure that it's who you want to listen to. Because again, if they've been there and done that, it's going to save you so much time, money, and effort, things that you no longer have to go and figure out, right? That's where planting property comes from. It comes from that guy screwed up so much stuff. It's not even funny. I mean, he did. You should see all the stuff he has screwed up.
Too. That guy wrecked all kind of things. So I mean, it's a fact. Yeah, this is true. You didn't worry about getting mugged if you left the resort like you did in Atlanta. So that's not nice to sit there and accuse Atlanta being a infested crap hole. Don't like. Oh, Hamish is not included on the video package. Tech was super stoked. And I want to talk about this too. Somebody sent us a thing there. I don't know what the hell that is. That's actually one of these things that if you take your text to things like this, you will create a bond with your text that if you've got the right text, and I would say if you feel like you want to take them to this, your text will appreciate going to a convention just more than you'll ever understand how much it means to them, because it's more than about you taking them out, for a night on the town kind of thing. I mean, you're investing in them and they understand that it costs, that it has a substantial cost to it. They understand that, and they also know that you've got faith in them. And when you sit there and tell them, look, I'm taking you to a place where they teach you how to run a business. And I'm okay with that because I have that much faith and that much trust and that much love for you, and I want you to be a part of this company like that.
I'm trying to figure out something.
Mm-hmm.
Why can I not get rid of a comment that's on there? Normally we can get rid of a comment.
I don't know. Is it the
big link? I don't know who that is, and I don't know what that link is, so I want to get rid of it, but for some reason I can't.
Go Swoogo. I don't know what that is. Don't go to the classes. Learning is for losers. Come with me to the bars and black out every night next year. Patrick Clark is always a man with the answers. He's okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to, that's not what I wanted to do.
That wasn't it.
No, I'm trying to get rid of it.
What do you do? Here, I can.
I don't know why I can't get rid of it.
My little edit comments thing is, no.
Huh.
Oh, well. Luckily, nobody else can see it. So
yeah, there you go.
Does it show up as something ugly, or?
Well, it's going to show up in there in our actual feed, but I don't know what it is or who it's from or whatever the case may be. So I think it might be spam. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, this interface is different because usually it gives us a little thing where we can delete comments and make them go away. Jeremy, we missed you.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple, it was drawing more sales pitch over talking, not knocking away a couple of small things we noticed, and that is a problem, that's the problem with selling from the stage. And whenever you make it a gigantic sales pitch for whatever it is, you're doing. So
Dustin, again, fill out the survey that the huge convention sent out and let them know. Be very specific. Tell them that this speaker, because that, again, I can tell you, and I always like to say that we're not being paid for this, right? I mean, we're not being paid to pitch it. We're not being, and my point to that is that we're being earnest. We're being genuine with you. That my feeling with talking with the huge convention is very specifically that they want to make this the best show that you could ever get to, right? So the best large show. I mean, I think like Carlos Gonzalez has the Cleaning Industry Summit, and that's in Cabo. I think that's going to be one of the best shows ever, for that side of what it is. It's very specific, right? But they can't fix it if they don't know what's wrong with it. If a speaker is there, they're not going to get rid of that speaker necessarily unless they know that there was an issue. Okay. There was an issue with somebody. I'll spit it out there. I mean, I won't say who it was, but they had an issue with somebody that was there, and they denied access to the convention to that person because, like it was said, well, we don't know you personally, but you're causing hate and discontent inside the showroom and everywhere. We don't need that here, right? So they want to make it a great show for you. So let them know, give them feedback. I mean, Jonathan and Sid might smack me upside the back. Man, we got all these emails. No, they really, really want the feedback. Give it to them. Give it to me.
Oh man, there's so many. We're sitting here, we get so many comments tonight. I love it. Yeah. So, one meal is the price of a house wash. A couple more, Alan Paul, so happy we sent it with you. And
I'm going to take away your spotlight.
Jacob, I'm on 70 milligrams of prednisone a day for dealing with some health issues that I have. And I think that's really just very tacky of you to make fun of people with health issues like that, because we're on medication and I'm having to take this, and I can't help how it really, gives me the round moon face, because the prednisone is really, really horrible. And it just shows of how small of a person you really are, that you would make fun of somebody, who has health issues like this. No, I'm just kidding. It's because I'm a freaking lard ass is why my face is so round.
I'm putting the heart for him. One little cheese.
Oh, somebody had trailer big blowout 2 days before the event. Oh, I wonder if that was Rhodes. Is that Rhodes? Mark Rhodes? Could be showing up on there. Mm-hmm. Wife came, and yes, a ladies' breakfast. That's another one. PWNA is really good about PWNA. PWNA is really good about and CETA at Power Clean of making sure they actually have women's events there, the wine and wash, and show up just to hang with YouTube friends.
There you go.
Yeah, 160 in food and drink. Local Publix brought it back to our room.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a refrigerator there. And that's the thing. You can make it as an expensive journey, or you can make it a not so expensive journey just by doing things like that. And they had refrigerators in the room.
You can park outside, and I tell you, I don't think enough was we haven't talked about the trade show as much as I'd like to. The trade show was absolutely amazing. Big
trade show.
I have never been to a trade show quite that amazing, and just so many things. One, the sheer number of vendors was absolutely incredible there. A lot of people, a lot of new stuff there, a lot of things I hadn't seen before, more and more skid builders out there, more and more innovation in the industry. There's people now selling, stainless steel pumps, not brass, that you can upstream through. Couple of other different style pumps that are coming out.
There was that we still didn't learn the way it actually functioned, but there's a brand new 12-volt pump out on the market. It looks like that's The 12-volt pump is how much, Ray? $2,500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 120 volt pump.
Oh, I thought he said it was 12 volt.
Well, it does both. They have an electric version and a, and a battery version. Yeah.
But the point of it being is that it was reaching the 6 psi and what was it? 70 psi, 6 gallons a minute. That's what they were hitting with it. And anyhow, the components and all, no rust issues, no reaction with bleach, all that. So even though it's a very expensive pump, it could end up being another industry changer eventually, where you no longer have to worry about your pumps breaking down; they just last.
Saw a lot of new innovation in pumps. Still haven't seen a new proportioner yet. Oh, let's see. Yeah, love making new friends, catching up with old ones. And Dave was talking about Pat and I trying to get as many families to camp out at the Nashville RV Resort, which is right around the corner as well. And somebody else had mentioned, you can always park over at one of the other places and walk across the street to not have to pay the $35.
Dave, we
power wash
have to stay at the hotel, but I have a feeling that next year, I might raid a campfire. Just go sit around, because breaking bread, sitting back, having a good wholesome talk would be a good thing to do.
When I feel like I missing that washing the field, I can come up to Valdosta. So, is that Alejandro? First year in business, leader in Nashville, not try hateful at all. Huge. It felt like a huge funnel. If I would have paid for my ticket, I would have probably been disappointed. I learned more talking to new people and didn't learn as much other than everyone selling you something. Is it always like that? I've been to expert stainless steel events that were free and left with a wealth of info that has helped me tremendously in business. I would say,
no, go ahead, Ray.
I would say you may have gone to the wrong classes then. I mean, Doug, you were talking about building a team and you weren't selling anything.
No, absolutely. And that's my point, Alejandro. I mean, I can't tell you how much I encourage you guys to give feedback to the huge convention. And let me qualify this. Don't send them what you just sent. Okay. You could send them this, but give them very specific. I went to Doug's class and this is what the topic was on. They videoed every single class. They then can go back and look and agree or disagree with you, right? But give them the feedback to allow them to fix that issue. Because, if there's a speaker that just is out there, that's against the rules to begin with. And so, I mean, we have contracts with the huge convention when we sign up to be speakers that we're not going to be a sales pitch. It can't be that, right? So if that happened, they're breaking the rules, so to speak. And yeah. I'm betting you won't see them invited back. So please give the feedback.
But yeah, unless you let somebody know, they won't know. They're just going to say, well, okay, yep, they were good. No, there was no complaints. I mean,
exactly.
And if you're being sold something in the trade show, then, well, yeah, probably so, because that's the goal of a trade show is for people to sell you stuff.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I mean, that's kind of the people get out there to the trade show and say, hey, would you like to see this? Would you like to see that? Because you've got 800 vendors there, 600 vendors there that are all vying for your wallet. But it's also nice to get them all in one place so you can see what's out there in the market. And yeah, I mean, we used to be at other conventions that I have run and helped manage. That was something, you'd always be fearful of, because you would certainly get people back in the days of Voldemort and he who shall not be mentioned. There were always people saying, hey, I'd like to teach. Hey, I'd like to teach. I'd like to appear here. And, it turns out, well, they were selling, and I'm not saying they were selling House Call Pro, or they were selling Response a Bid, or they were selling this, that, or the other. And, you can't, and I'm not saying those companies ever did that. I'm just using that as a couple of things that came up on top of my mind.
So Dustin, I got to ask, I'm not sure who Pat Clark is. But I think that's the guy that works for Dave Jensen, if I'm not mistaken. He has something to do. He has something to do with following Dave around. So something like that.
Oh Lord, sounds like you got the Kyles now telling him don't even think about bringing the camper. So
There you go. Didn't even think about it. Actually, I think that I mean, I would do that. I would enjoy. I would enjoy being out just camping.
Actually, and Henry came into my store this afternoon, and he had to pick up a couple of things, and he was there, and I mean, he really did have a spring. Well, he's young already, but he had a little spring in his step and a zip, and you could tell he was very, very energized.
Yeah.
And Stain and Seal, I've never gotten to meet them, but I have heard good thing about their events.
Yep.
And Nikki brought up something earlier. The smaller events offer a different experience, memory offering huge value as well. It's sometimes these intimate events, and I say intimate, and you could have one of 20, 30 people, you could have one of 200 or so. And these are different events, and you can have a lot more personalized one-on-one time and a lot more, talking and focusing on things. And 100%, these smaller events can really be nice.
Yeah, sometimes especially the small events can be. It does give you a little bit. There's not as many people, so you get to spend a little bit more time connecting with people, and there is an advantage to that as well. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Learned what last call is.
You're pushing it. I might show up. I might show up at your camper, just so you know. And I'll have my wife with me. She likes camping too. So there you go. The first huge I went was in Nashville 7 years ago. Then I was doing about $150,000. Learned and implemented, and this year we will do 1.75. That is awesome. I wish I knew who that Facebook user was. And it's about implementation. I think, that's the key, I think, here. What he learned and implemented. Now he's at 1.7 and 1.75 instead of, 150.
Okay, so we're talking what? $1.5 million, $1.6 million in 7 years. Ooh.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Just because you're going to do over 2 this year, that's no problem. I mean, yeah, no, that's great. But that's it, and it's all about the implementation. If you don't implement the things that you learn and listen to those that have been there and done that, one of the things that I've learned the most from, and I mean this, and this is where, when you're talking to the people that have been there and done that, one of the questions I think a lot of people fail to ask is, where did you screw up? Yeah. Seriously, where did you screw up? I have so many failures in my life.
That would be an amazing class, Yeah. I don't think I could pack it into 50 minutes.
Experience where you can then move forward from those.
I couldn't pack that into 50 minutes though. We would need to actually make an academy class on that.
So our plant and property class, which is online, by the way, if our plant and property class, which is right now at about 6.5 hours,
selling from the stage,
if we did our failure class, oh man, I'm thinking 6-8 weeks.
Minimum. Yeah, easily.
Yeah. I mean, 24/7, 6-8 weeks. Yeah. Andrew says, I didn't even know they had a campground close to the hotel. I might do that next year.
Gave a Conquer that's plug and play. Is Conquer like Amway? No, but once you recruit 3 more memberships in there, you then get your Everest pin. No, you get once you bring in like 3 more conquistadors, you get your oh my goodness, Mount McKinley pin. If you get 6 people, you get Kilimanjaro. Then if you bring in 10, you'll get your Everest pin on there. Now, I have no idea what the thing is on my understanding. It's
actually a very robust system.
I've never been a Conquer guy. I know a lot of the coaches. I have an immense respect for a lot of the coaches out there, and it's like, I know it's a big accountability group, and you're going to get taught and you're going to get coached, and there's some amazing names out there in it. And Doug and I were bigger than some of them. Doug and I were a lot smaller than some of the coaches out there. But sometimes some of the coaches don't even come from the industry. They come from other businesses. Matt Clark was a NASCAR pit crew manager. There's a ton of different people in there, and it's all about accountability. And, I would dare say that some people probably do not need Conquer one bit. Some people are self-starters and are going to hold themselves to a different standard. Some people could absolutely use that accountability. Mm-hmm. And there's other people that don't need to do it, and not because they're self-starters and not because they don't need the accountability. It's just they're going to be BS artists, and they're not going to do what they're supposed to do anyway on there.
My take on it is this. I mean, I think if you get into a program like that, if you get into the I could say the same thing about Spray Wash Pro, PWA, any of them, right? So if you get into that and the value isn't there, or you're not getting so especially with Conquer, I'm just going to stick with it there. If you're not getting it from the coach, you don't feel like it, ask for a different coach. I'm sure that's a thing, right? And so, and I don't know, but I think that there's no way that they're doing it. It's same thing with Raina. There's no way we're doing this to not help you, right? Because then there's no future in it. There's no future long-term growth or anything to that nature. So, and Pat Clark made a comment right after that was about how he gave away 4 documents at his class, right? Mm-hmm. Pat is also a Conquer coach, right? So, I mean, I think with everything, it's also about the whole implementation thing that we've been talking about. So if you get something from your coach and it's not something you can implement, you got to tell them so that they know to, help you figure out why you can't implement it, right? Because everything is about implementation. And if you don't implement something, it's not going to help you at all. So is Conquer worth it? Heck no. If you're not implementing what you're learning from them, that's it, right?
I really want to learn some more about marketing. It seemed like all the marketing in class 2 just explain that marketing exists. And if you pay us, we'll do marketing for you. And, I think that's where you need to seriously let the huge people know. I mean, mm-hmm. I know that Tanya has taught butterfly marketing at the huge before, and we are in no way, shape, or form, into selling any kind of marketing. The only thing we have to sell is pressure washers, and then memberships and classes with Spray Wash Pro. But it's not, hey, buy our package at all. And Tanya said, okay, what worked for us? Well, notepads and not being a pest and stopping in and seeing people and just flitting in and out like a butterfly was the basis of her butterfly marketing campaign, for those of you who remember that and do that. I think
not to interrupt you, but we did talk with Tanya today about that, and she might be bringing that online.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
Well, and I think that's also, Alejandro, is where you have to kind of read through I'm going to say like if the lady that owns Pink Collars is a speaker talking about, hey, virtual assistants, and by no means I mean anything offensive by this, but or saying it's not a good program or not a bad program. I don't mean this. I'm just, again, the thought of Pink Collars just came up. But if Betty Sue Much and Futch owns Pink Collars, and virtual assistant company that's been helping entrepreneurs for blah 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 blah, and we're going to talk about this. You read that in the bio and you think, okay, they might have something to sell. But if you read a bio that said Doug Gore is about implementing a team, Doug Gore's a washer who owns Cajun Soft Wash, and built that up to a 7-figure company and then sold that company, and he's going to talk about making a dynamic team for you. Well, then you think, okay, well, maybe Doug's not selling me something on there. So and that's not to qualify the speakers at all on that way, but I think it does have to give you something to think about there and say, okay, it doesn't say they were a washer. It doesn't say they were a service company. It says, they're a marketing company. So they probably are there to kind of sell something. Jeremy, 100%, brother. Does AC own Gutter Butter? No, I believe that is by our own Pat Clark.
Pat Clark.
Favorite show from the pre-show classes? Ask Me How I Know.
Yeah. Ask Me How I Know. How much did that vase cost? A little over $400.
How much?
Ask Me How I Know.
How much does a check reader on a bank's drive-through behind a bank's drive-through window cost?
Yeah.
Ask Me How I Know.
How much does a emergency call out on a generator panel cost? A little over $1,400.
And Bradley brings up a great point here. Economics of an event like this create a challenge. They need to support the speakers by giving them a chance to promote their businesses. But then there's speakers like Pat here who just gives massive value without selling at all. There'll be a mixed bag in the breakouts. Truth be told, some of the stuff being sold is stuff you might need. Agreed.
100%. And look, here's at the end of the day, let's go that direction a little bit too. That I'm going to pick on Pat Clark because I'm going to pick on Pat Clark. Let's say, for example, that Pat Clark went there to pitch how to get rid of oxidation on, how to get rid of tiger stripes on rain gutters. Okay. You're going to use a product like Gutter Butter, which is my product, but this is how you do it. And he can get into an in-depth description of how to remove the tiger stripes using Gutter Butter. Okay. And it's his product. To me, that's okay as well, because even though he's selling his product and he's kind of pitching his product, if he were also explaining this is how to remove these correctly, and even saying there are other products out there other than Gutter Butter, kind of a thing, then I think that that's perfectly cool. So going back to what Ray was saying about pink collars, right? That you're going to listen to a presentation about, that specific thing, and that's what they sell. But they should also be the gist of the class should be about telling you how to do it on your own, but that we do offer this service, kind of a thing. It might be the same case with Spray Wash Academy, right? We don't go up and we don't pitch Spray Wash Academy. We don't do a sales thing on Spray Wash Academy, but we get up there and we talk about the things that we know, we've learned, and we've whatever. At the end, hey, if you'd like to contact us, give me a shout out, Doug@spraywashacademy.com, right? So even though we're not doing a sales pitch, we can still promote ourselves kind of at the end as far as if you need more information. And really, if I've done a good job, and this is with any speaker that's out there, if Pat Clark does a good job, you're going to reach out to Pat when he's done, because you want to hear more about whatever he's got. That's the point of it, right? So, and like Pat said, his breakout session, he gave away 4 documents that you could implement in your business, right? He didn't send me any of them. I just want y'all to know that, Pat.
What business?
Oh, that's right.
You're an old washed up pressure washer. According to some guy who has never done as much as half as much as you.
Been in,
man. Anyway. So Dan's vlog, that's awesome. I love it. Do it in my Australian voice.
Oh yeah. I gotta tell y'all, this was funny. Ray did so.
Did I order dinner? Was I talking to the waiter and the?
It was so hilarious. He was doing an Australian skit about the steak and how it was going north and south.
Well, what I was saying there, mate, was I was talking to my waiter, and I told him now our beef down there in Australia, where we get it cut over there, and the grain, you go north and south over here in the States, but we're not used to it because we cut east to west against the grain down there. And the beef here is a lot more fatty and not nearly as meaty as the old roux meat that we eat there, because we don't have as many cows, and we actually do still eat a lot of kangaroos. Little buggers are hard as hell to wind up getting out out there and kick the shit out of you if you don't grab them up and wrap them up real good there. And since they banned guns in our country, it's not like we can go out there and shoot the little boogers in the head. But I actually had an extensive conversation with our waiter about this, and I think he was apologizing.
It was hilarious. Because at first the waiter didn't know whether or not he was serious. He was like, "Is this guy Australian? Or is he not?" He wasn't speaking. And then, with all of us busted up laughing, he finally got it.
Finally realized it. Yeah.
It was hilarious.
American with Disabilities Act. I think when Jacob was making fun of me on, oh my God. So Pressure Washing Punks has content on TikTok. I will have to look for that.
Where it's hard for it to be taken down. Yes. Hey,
I'm in Nashville. Where the hell is everybody?
Is that Jacob? No. Don't kid yourself, Ray. You're still sexy. Not Dougie hair kind of sexy, but still sexy. Love you, boo.
Well, if Vanessa heard this, she'd choke your ass. Well, according to Kim Hopkins, my Australian accent is shit. That's what she told me. It's just bullshit.
That's it.
And then she tried to get me to say shit right in Australian, and apparently I didn't do that. Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, look at that. Part of the board of directors keeps saying is now saying nice things about it. Maybe I'll get a keynote next year.
There you go. He's already Sid already asked me to do the keynote, just so you know.
The Grand Teton pen. That involves something with your tongue, Rusty. Will videos for the convention be available for purchase from Spray Wash or any other speakers? That would be a great answer for
I think you get them directly from the Huge.
For Sid. If you can answer that, I assume somebody can go back and do that. So
I think you can still go to the Huge Convention website, thehugeconvention.com. I think you can still buy those videos. Maybe Sid, like you said, can pop on and maybe provide us a link to be able to go purchase those videos. And that is absolutely what I would do if I were still doing that. I would buy the videos because that's what makes sense. Then that way you can go through and you can fast forward, you can stop, you can look, you can whatever. In my breakout, we had there were technical difficulties. You don't see any of the slides, but you still get to hear my awesome class.
The there you go. Pump Tech
was fire. I think was the one that was doing that they've got the $2,500 pump. Is that the one?
Is that Pump Tech? I don't know. I don't remember. I got a flyer from them because I wanted to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
A big plus. Well, thank you, Sid. I finally went to the bottom of the comments. I started going up. We've gotten so many. What about the drone pressure washers? Be like self-checkout booths before long, a drone and wet and forget and we're replaced. So
30-second.
I actually keep this on my desk, man, here just to remind me of how easy it is for me to be replaced and how much I will never be replaced,
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I just squeezed it, got it on me, and now I smell. Oh, my God. Wait, hold on.
Now you smell like
30-second miracle cleaner. I just squeezed it on me, and guess what it smells like?
Anybody?
Bleach! Bleach!
Now is it turning your hand white and ruining your shirt?
Okay, this shirt is already, I want y'all to show this. I'm not doing it. This shirt is already bleached out, right? So I'm going to do this for you just so y'all can see this. This is the 30-second miracle cleaner right here. I'm going to put a little on this shoulder right here. I'm wiping my hand off. And look, it's already starting to change it. See that?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
So what is the miracle? They're able to sell bleach.
What is the miracle? Yeah, the miracle is they sell bleach for $26 a gallon. And if you came to our plant and property class, I mean, you realize I literally kept a bottle of that, and damn it, what I did is I turned the valve to off, because then if you turn it off, it doesn't squirt out. But I was playing with that.
I want to hit this one because Jonathan Maynard is here, and just like we told y'all, I mean, I think for the most part it was a great convention, right? But just like Jonathan's saying, if someone sold from the stage, they will not speak again. And this is proof positive right here. Jonathan Maynard and Sid, two of the owners there at the huge convention, and they're telling you that that's not what the huge convention is about. And they're trying to make this as good as they can for you, the washers. And so give them the feedback, right? They can't fix a problem if they don't know this. Look, I don't know. I do not want you to flood them with negative stuff and all that. I want you to also flood them with the positive stuff, right? Tell them what was really good about the convention, what was okay about the convention, what was bad about it, what you feel like you wish there would have been there, what shouldn't have been, any of that, right? Any feedback you have, positive and negative, give it all to them so they can make this the best convention ever. I think, and I'm not letting any cats out of the bag, but 2023 is going to be different, and it's going to be big, and it's going to be, and they've asked me to.
Is it going to be huge?
No. They haven't. We haven't. Just teasing.
So, all right, here, if you go videos, go to the website, hugeconvention.com. Link is at the top. Yes, we have our plant and property does not get done in 50 minutes. So we have a pre-show class that was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, and that was 3.5 or 4 hours. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no way, Alejandro. There's no way we could do plant and property as a
we couldn't even do it. So y'all realize this is getting lighter and lighter and lighter all the time, from the fast acting 30-second miracle cleaner. Oh, it's safe around your yard, plants, and lawn.
And yet it's bleach.
It's not safe around your cotton shirts, though.
By the way, Ray, that comes out of your side, not mine.
No, we buy the shirts together. No. We buy the shirts together.
You purposefully destroyed company property. Purposely.
Oh my goodness, Doug, we have sucked another hour and a half out of these people's
lives.
You know, ask me about any breed of plant in Florida. Amen.
There you go.
Oh, hey, how does hibiscus do with bleach there, Michael? Good.
Yeah, there you go. You know, it has been real. It has been fun. We have definitely taken so much of y'all's time. So next week, again, just so that y'all know, and Sid, you can join us as well if you'd like. Jonathan will be our guest next week. We're going to talk again about the huge, but it's really going to be about what's going to happen in 2023. And again, address some of the issues here for 2022, but talking about the 2023 convention. And then we might get into some other stuff there as well. But Jonathan will be our guest. I hope maybe Sid can make it on there. We can have a nice 4-way and just see where the conversation goes. I can't wait for it to happen again. And I think I'm going to have to book at least a day to go hang out at the campground. I think that sounds like an awesome day, and I think my wife would love to do that as well. So that'll be fun. So I got to get to this one before we cut it off. Sid is asking, who is the good, the bad, and who is the ugly? I think we know. Ha ha. Well, the good, I mean, we already know that, right? The bad was removed from the convention. And he was also the ugly, I guess. Or I mean, I don't know who else would qualify as the ugly, kind of thing. But yeah, I think we got that all figured out.
Probably so.
Probably. Also, just another quick point. I think it's huge23.com. I think it's either thehuge23.com or huge23.com. Go check it out. I haven't been there yet, but I'll be going here probably first thing in the morning or tonight. But check it out for whatever's there. And don't forget, Jonathan will be with us next Monday. And yeah, we're not good.
I'm going to tell what I know about this, just because it was kind of interesting. But apparently there's a guy who specializes in garages, and he specializes in subbing them out
and bad mouthing.
And somebody saw him, and I guess there's some scuttlebutt going around that he doesn't pay his subs out very well. And somebody they got into a physical altercation because he said, "Hey, you owe me $60,000, and there was words exchanged and punches thrown.
Mm-hmm. Don't need none of that.
Don't need none of that. I mean, I got to be honest. If I was a new washer, relatively new washer, and somebody did that and took that kind of money away from my family, and I wasn't able to feed my family, and you scammed me out of that kind of cash, you wouldn't have walked back into the huge convention. You might have blown your way back in with a straw in your rolly scooter. You wouldn't have walked back in, because that's some bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, I think we're going to bid y'all a good night.
See y'all.
Appreciate y'all. And
thank y'all. We really do appreciate your time. We know that is the most valuable commodity.
Give us likes and thumbs ups and shares and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Oh, here's another great. There's a lot of swamp dolphins. Don't go to the bar on Tuesday before the convention. All right, guys, we're out of here. See y'all.
Peace.